If you're aiming at greatness in anything, including the Overwatch Champions Series, it will require you to make a sacrifice, or sometimes many of them. Competing at the highest level of Overwatch is not just a matter of continuing to queue up in ranked, and consequently is no exception to this rule. The biggest challenge we face when pursuing anything at a high level in life is how to best use our time. We all have the same 168 hours in the week, and in order for me to succeed at everything that's on my plate, my schedule is packed. Between family commitments, my full-time job, being a content creator, and more recently adding a focus into competing at the highest levels of Overwatch 2, managing my time has become an essential juggling act. In order to make sure I didn't cut out anything that's important to me, I started by being intentional about writing my priorities out to make them clear. Personally, my highest priority in my life is my faith in Christ. My faith anchors me into a very clear reason as to why I do everything that I do in my life. Apart from Christianity, succeeding in anything in life would feel relatively pointless to me. Right underneath my relationship with Christ is my relationship with my wife. She is truly the most amazing woman a guy could ask for. As a couple, we have chosen to live a very traditional lifestyle. But please don't get the wrong picture in your head. Succeeding at bringing up a family requires teamwork, and that sometimes means I'm washing the dishes, changing a diaper, or hanging out with my children while she folds and puts away the laundry. Trust me, she'd never want me to do that because evidently I do it all wrong. My third highest priority in my life is my children. According to the National Fatherhood Initiative, nearly 1 in 4 children in the United States alone don't have a father figure. These poor kiddos are more likely to wind up in prison, drop out of high school, abuse drugs, and many other things. The way I see it, without my active engagement in my kids' lives, I'm just contributing to this problem. The first sacrifice I had to make in order to start aligning with these priorities was being a full-time content creator. Even temporarily, leaving behind content creation was one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. The journey to building a following, creating engaging content, and fostering a community is incredibly fulfilling to me, but I realized that my family's needs weren't being met. My faith in Christ teaches me to prioritize my family's well-being above all else, and it became clear that my current path wasn't helpful in that. This decision ultimately was driven by the need for financial responsibility and stability in a more secure manner than just hoping for the next piece of content to pop off. While this meant lowering the amount of time that I invest into my content creation passion overall, it was a choice rooted in love for my family. Balancing my faith with family responsibilities required me to step outside of my comfort zone and back into the workforce, but I trust that this temporary sacrifice was small and in part of a greater plan that will allow me to fulfill both my spiritual and familial commitments. With that new full-time job, personal time became a rare commodity. Each day I navigate a tight schedule where every minute counts, and aimlessly watching TV for hours or even scrolling through TikTok was completely a scarce concept for me. I've had to drastically reduce the time spent on those kinds of things and utilize that reduced time back into content creation so that I could actually make these kinds of videos for you guys. This has been a challenging adjustment for sure, as I previously held my time playing Clone Hero and watching anime like Attack on Titan in high esteem. However, this personal time sacrifice is a strategic choice aimed at a future where I can potentially return to content creation full time. Although my current situation limits that personal enjoyment and leisure, I'm hopeful that these sacrifices will eventually lead to a future where I can fully immerse myself in content creation again, backing my passions with financial stability. Preparing for the OWCS has required a high level of dedication, particularly when it comes to practice. To ensure I'm at the top of my game, I've sacrificed regular, restful sleep to dedicate more hours to honing my skills. Each night, I push beyond the typical bedtime routine and sacrifice part of that 8 hours of sleep that is considered essential commonly for your overall health and daily functioning. This commitment to improving my gameplay often leaves me running on less than ideal rest, which is challenging, but currently necessary to keep pace with the competition. I remind myself frequently that these sleepless nights are a short-term sacrifice to aid a long-term goal. After all of this, I am finally at a place where my daily routine is starting to churn out results. My days are meticulously planned, and they typically start about 4:15 a.m. and end at 11:30 p.m. My morning begins with a quick boost of freshen up energy to kickstart my day. You can use my code HOPE for 20% off your order and to help aid me in this journey. By 4:45 a.m., I transition into a time of prayer and Bible study, focusing on deepening my relationship with Christ. From 5:15 to 6:15, I dedicate an hour to solo queue Overwatch 2, striving to improve my skills as a player. Next, I head to my work's employee-only gym, being sure to crank up some gym hype music on the way there before working out from 6:45 to 7:30 a.m. After cleaning up, I commute to work, often arriving around 8:30 in the morning. I work as a teller until 12:30 in the afternoon, then spend roughly 30 minutes editing each week's YouTube video to free up family time later in my day. My workday then continues after that lunch break until 5 p.m., followed by a commute home. Evenings are precious, so I spend time with my family over dinner from 5:30 to 6:30. Then it's time to prepare for scrims with my team, Hopium, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Afterward, I write and record a vertical video until 10 p.m., then edit more of these YouTube videos until 10:30. I wrap up each day cuddling and watching a show with my wife from 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. I will say, as much as a consistent schedule is going to aid me in this journey, another thing that is equally as important is trying new things as a player. In this video right here, I try to play Reinhardt in the way that Awkward teaches in his unranked 2GM series, so you should check that out next.